Welcome to Butler County, Kansas, and I'm standing on the county line road with Butler County and Harvey County. And you know, I've been doing some of these county exploration videos, and they're all really teeny tiny populations, and this one's going to be a little bit different. Butler County actually has a population of over 60,000, and it's also the largest county by size in the entire state of Kansas. So it's going to be a little different in how I explore this. I'm going to still focus on the unincorporated towns, the small towns, the ghost towns, and some of the out-of-the-way places, and there will be some larger places I'll just skip through really quick. We're going to start here in the northwest corner of the county, and we're going to today explore the northern section. So I don't know how much we'll be able to get to, but definitely the most sparsely populated part of the county, which is obviously what we like. Let me give you a little bit of history about Butler County as we drive to our first stop.
Even though Kansas became a state in 1861, Butler County had already been established in 1855 when this area was part of the Kansas Territory. It was named after Senator Andrew Butler. Early settlers established ranches, trading posts in the old town of El Dorado near Walnut River, and by 1859 there were only about 50 people living in the entire county. First election for county seat didn't happen until 1864, and El Dorado won, but there were no buildings suitable for county offices, and the board decided not to move there till such provisions were made. Two more elections were held in 1870 and 1871, and El Dorado won a narrow vote over Augusta and became the permanent county seat. A courthouse was built in 1871 and replaced by the current structure in 1909. The region's economy dramatically shifted in 1915 with the discovery of oil. It became one of the largest oil-producing fields in the United States during World War I, attracting major oil companies and thousands of workers. Oil boom towns quickly rose and fell, but the impact was lasting, and by 1920 the population had nearly doubled. Today, Butler County blends its agricultural heritage with a petroleum-based economy and maintains that population of around 67,000 people. In 1877, railroad was built through this area that is currently Elbing. The railroad wanted to call the town Regier after the local landowner, but he suggested Elbing, Danzig, and Marienburg, all cities in Prussia where he had previously lived. Elbing was eventually chosen. There was a post office established in the nearby ghost town of Worth, and that was moved here in 1887, and the town was founded. In 1919, the first of several oil wells were drilled near Elbing. The oil boom happened and Elbing grew for a brief time. Then the oil field declined and a fire destroyed much of the town in 1933. 1946, Berean Academy was started. It was established as a Mennonite school, but in 1966 became an interdenominational Christian school. And you can see the population in that oil boom, 230 in 1920, went way down under 100, and then has worked its way back up to over 200 today. This is Cassidy, Kansas. In 1866, a strip of land in this area was laid out as a right-of-way for the railroad, and the town of Cassidy was platted along it. With the promise of a railroad, building began. The town was named for John Cassidy, Chief Justice of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Railroad didn't arrive till 1904, but when it did, the town started to grow. Post office started in 1906. Sycamore Springs, which we went through just right before here, that post office was absorbed here into Cassidy. Pasturing cattle in the area boomed from the mid-20s to the late 50s as cattle were brought in by rail from Texas and Oklahoma and other states to spend the summer grazing in the grasses of the Flint Hills. At that time, Cassidy was known as the cow capital of Kansas. The town is also known as the prairie chicken capital of the world. For the early settlers, the prairie chicken was a regular part of their diet. Population around 1910 was as high as 300, and the population these days hovers around 100, as the welcome sign says. Durachin is supposed to be down that, I guess, driveway road on my map. That's what it says. Interesting little marker here. But yeah, it used to be a post office a little bit down that way. There aren't very many people that live in this part of Butler County, but I have a friend that actually does live in this area, and she told me that there are wild horses up here. So she told me where exactly to go, so let's see if we can find them. Wild horses. As we cross over this railroad, you can see the signs there say Chelsea, because there used to be a town called Chelsea here. And the only thing kind of remaining with the name of the town, except for the railroad sign there is the cemetery, the Chelsea Cemetery. And then as we start to explore, you notice up on the hill over here to the right, that's Dorado Lake, and the town of Chelsea is underneath the lake now. When they built the lake, Chelsea became a ghost town. It was on the Walnut River. It was settled in 1857, one of the first towns in the county. It was in the running for the county seat in 1870. In 1878, it had general store, blacksmith, the school, churches, population of about 75. Daily stagecoach ran from Chelsea to El Dorado and Cottonwood Falls. You can see here where the road used to go, and right through that area, as we look up, you'll see in the distance where the road currently goes today. Down a side road. It's not marked, but this is called Baker Cemetery. There's really lots of bakers in here. Steward, boils, so not just bakers. Next up is the town of Potwin. It was incorporated in 1885 and named after the original landowner, Charles Potwin. It became a station on the Missouri Pacific Railroad. There was a post office in the nearby ghost town of Ayr, A-Y-R, that was established in 1875, but they moved that over here in 1885. It enjoyed prosperity of several oil fields. In 1920, an oil refinery was built. In 1964, distressed economic conditions shut down the oil processing facilities. 1961, school consolidation happened in the county, and many of these towns went to the new Remington High School a few miles west of Potwin and Brainerd. From the 60s to the 80s, the Titan II intercontinental ballistic missile site was located just north of town. Population has been in the 400 to 500 range pretty consistently through the history of the town. The sign here, as you enter Brainerd, says an enterprising town of yesteryear. It's kind of an interesting way to put it. This is the main street. There's an unincorporated community. Not many people living here anymore. It was established in 1870. It was called Holden back then. They renamed it to Brainerd in 1886 after Elisha Brainerd, the original landowner. The community grew. There were people from different communities moved here because of the railroad. Post office closed in 1907. As you can see, lots of kind of ghost town feel as you explore. But just north of town is Remington High School. And when the county consolidated its high schools, this is where they went. So instead of being in one of the towns, the main school in this area is kind of in a ghost town, which is interesting. There's also a pretty large church here right next to the high school. Our final town of the day is Whitewater. It was originally several miles to the east, and a post office was established as Whitewater. It was 2 words back then in 1871. They renamed it OVO, O-V-O, in 1882. And then the railroad came through this area, so from 1885 to 1888, a lot of buildings were moved to this location on the Whitewater River, and the railroad came through, like I said. The town was established where the Missouri Pacific and Rock Island Railroads intersected. Post office was renamed back to Whitewater with 2 words in 1888, and they shortened it to, or they condensed it into 1 word, I guess you would say, Whitewater, in 1950. In 1961, the school consolidations happened, and that was when students here went to the Remington High School, which we just saw. Population was small in the early days, but then once it got to 500, it's pretty much maintained that and even gone up, and now it's at 661 today.
That is the end of our first part of Butler County, Kansas. I don't know how many parts it's going to be. Probably going to be at least 3. And I don't know how often I'll be able to come back here. I do live close, but I'm out of town almost every weekend, so it's an easy place to come back and make a new video. But this was fun, the northern part. I'm 5 miles from where I started, and I'm on County Road, or the County Line Road again. So just 5 miles north is where I was standing earlier today. These clouds have gone all around me, and somehow I've avoided the rain for the most part. So it's been fun, a lot of cemeteries, and some good small towns, and certainly the wild horses out there over near the eastern side of the county was probably the highlight for me. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of that video. And now that you're here, let me tell you a little bit about some of the extras that we have on the channel. One of the things you can do is you can become a member. There's 3 levels. There's the supporter level, there's the producer level, and the executive producer level. And all 3 levels have different perks, and as you are more supportive financially, there's more perks. We have extra videos every week and a lot of fun stuff going on in the member section. If you haven't done so, make sure you check out travelwithawiseguy.com. We've got lots of extra stuff on there, and one of the things is merchandise. You can get you Travel with a Wise Guy t-shirt. We have Death Go Round t-shirts. We have some coffee mugs, different things that are a lot of fun, and people seem to have enjoyed. Good quality there. Also on the website, you can do things like check out the Google map. I have a pin dropped in every place I've done videos about, then a link to the video so you can look at the map, and maybe there's somewhere where you live or somewhere you want to go. You can check out that map, and it seemed to be a very popular thing. You can sign up for my newsletter. I do that about every 3 weeks. It's totally free. And there's also all kinds of other links and tidbits in there, old videos, podcasts, just everything I could think of I throw on the website. So make sure you check out travelwithawiseguy.com. Thank you for everyone who has been supportive of this channel, and thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. And now for the reason you're probably here, the outtakes. Hi. It's always awkward, like what are they thinking I'm doing out here? Here comes another one. This guy's getting after his run today, making me feel lazy. Been driving around all day, did not think I would find one, but we got one in Potwin, and it is spectacular looking. You could get the whole town of Potwin on that. I'm gonna give it an 8.0. Doesn't spin great, but it's very large and impressive.
That's what she said.